Parents tell us all the time, "Doctor, we've done all the tests, we've done all the interventions, we've gone through so many different therapies, we've done all of the special things and natural non-invasive things out there, supplements, detoxes, we've gotten blood work, we've gotten CAT scans, MRIs, we've seen specialists, we've gotten EEGs done, and nothing has come back with any valuable information. And any changes we see are very fleeting in their nature." Traditional pediatric medicine is going to be looking for a pathology. They're looking for the giant signs that tell them, oh, this is wrong. Oh, this is what needs to be addressed. But they're missing one of the biggest pieces, and that is they're not asking about the nervous system. We're so focused on disease and symptoms that we forget to understand the importance of function. So, why aren't we asking about a kid's ability to move, to sleep, to have good sensory integration, to be able to experience these stressors and not have an epic meltdown from them, to be able to put on different shoes, be able to try new foods, to not have a tummy ache after every single meal, to go to the bathroom, to get over a sickness in only a couple days rather than a month? Where does that all come from? It comes from the nervous system. One of our kiddos here is going to have some challenges with speech. And that was one of the biggest things that we had coming forth in this plan. So, when we started this care plan together, a lot of adjustments, lots of soft, gentle integrations to allow stress to be released. And every single time we adjusted, there's a little bit of a light bulb moment. That little light bulb moment, he started to have more engagement. He started to repeat words back at you more. He had a desire to connect. And before adjusting, there was none of that. He was in his own world. He was locked out of everything else and locked into himself. He only had a few phrases he liked, and the second he gets adjusted, you can see the light bulb turn on. And he starts to get curious. And that's one of the most important things that we see with the nervous system is its change in the perception of its environment. The nervous system starts to get curious. It tones down the noise for a second and it starts to realize what's available to it. How do we measure this? How do we evaluate this here at Flow Life? How do we objectively analyze the nervous system? It starts with the insight scans. The insight scans are so valuable because they show us in real time the sensory aspect of the nervous system. Input comes into the nervous system is going to send an output. We're always concerned about the output because that is the symptom or behavior that we don't like, but we have to understand why that symptom or behavior is being generated, and that comes from understanding the input. Your nervous system is responsible for constantly perceiving your environment, internal and external, 24/7, and coordinating the behavior of every single cell for every single action taken. So, how is the nervous system understanding the environment? Most kids are going to have normal blood tests, normal EEGs. 1 in 12 kids have some kind of speech or language condition. And when you don't have a clear, blazing answer in front of you, it can get really frustrating. So we have to go deeper. And we go deeper with the insight scans. So what the heck are they? We run 3 scans here at Flow Life that help us create a care plan for your kiddo. We start out with the HRV, heart rate variability. That's going to allow us to quantify and see what is the overall ability of your kid to adapt to stress. Do we have a really good ability? Do we have a really poor ability? Are we somewhere in the middle? Are we too stressed out? Are we not stressed out enough? Because there's both sides. So, what's the overall ability to adapt to stress? Next, we have the neurothermal exam. That's going to be great for when it comes to organ function. So we see it with immunity, we see it with gut cases, hormones, any organ function you can think of, digestion, all those things are fantastic with the thermal scan. It really shows us where the brain and the body are disconnected through dysautonomia, which is going to mean high stress response, not enough peace and ease growth response. So if there's too much stress, growth gets put to the side, Things like your gut, immune function, and hormones are going to get thrown out the window if stress is up through the roof. So that's our neurothermal scan. Lastly is going to be our EMG scan. Our EMG, or our neuroelectromyography, is going to show us that neuromuscular activation that is running through the nervous system. Because you guessed it, if a muscle wants to activate, guess who's going to tell it to activate? The nervous system. This is great for our kiddos who are challenged with ADHD, anxiety, focus problems, missed motor milestones, or kids who would never seem to be at ease and are really tight. That's going to show us amazing information on that one. And when that system, that neuromuscular system, is super high up, that's static, that's noise constantly going into the brain, and the brain wants to tone it down. The brain needs to get some kind of clear image. So what does it do? It actually makes that kid move around more, because movement turns that noise down. That noise is the stuck stress and tension inside the neurospinal system. So when the brain turns it down, it gets a break. That's what it's looking for. That's why the behavior exists, and it comes from the input. Hence, the insight scans are great for showing us the sensory input going into the nervous system, and we can correlate that to why we're seeing the symptoms and behaviors. Now, when we run all of these scans, we can categorize a kid into one of three categories. We see them as a raging bull, we see them as a drunken bull, or we see them as a raging drunken bull. Raging bull is going to be your classic ADHD kiddo. It can also fall into that anxiety case as well, because all of these revolve around too busy of a nervous system. It does not want to slow down. It probably doesn't have a great immune function because the stress is through the roof. If you've experienced it yourself, when your stress is up, 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 guess what gets turned down? Your immune system. So these kiddos might even have a little bit of kick the sick background in them as well, where that means they get a bug, or they get a flu, or they get a cold. It takes a few weeks or a month to get rid of rather than a quick 2 to 3 days. So those kiddos are going to need a lot more frequent adjustments, because that is going to help tune them down over time rather than pull the e-brake and bring them to a screeching halt. So that's the raging bull. We see them a ton with the EMG scan. Then we see the drunken bull. The drunken bull might be a kiddo who's a little bit more lethargic, might be more reserved, and almost seem like they're just out of it. This is a kid whose nervous system is really toned down. There's not enough activation. So we see that on the EMG as well. We can also see it on the thermal scan. And this is going to be someone who might have some bathroom problems, might have some gut motility problems, because the nervous system just doesn't have enough stimulation, and it's almost like it's asleep. So with these kiddos, duration is our best friend there, because we got to wake the nervous system up, and then we got to keep it stimulated for a period of time so that it creates new connections. So it starts to really grow, and eventually it learns new ways to use energy and be more efficient, be more aware and stimulated. Lastly is going to be our raging drunken bull, which is going to be a mixture of both of these cases. This is very often where we see a lot of our autistic or spectrum cases, where we have the tendencies of a raging bull in the beginning or drunken bull, and then we switch to the other ones. So that's all that the insight scans tell us, and they are huge in creating a care plan for your kids. So what does this mean for you? Get scanned today. Click the link in our bio, click the link in our description or below, and sign up to get your scan, get your child's nervous system objectively evaluated so that you have actual data. We test, we don't guess. This allows us to give you numbers and show how improvements are being made and how the care plan is going to shift over time based on how your child's nervous system is shifting. So DM us, give us a comment, do what you got to do to get signed up today to get your child's nervous system scanned, get on a care plan, get them thriving in the way that they deserve. I'm Dr. Noah with Flow Life Chiropractic, serving the Eldersburg, Maryland area, And I can't wait to see you.